About once or twice a week.
Okay. And what do you do when you come out here to practice?
I try to hit different types of shots, high cuts, high draws, low cuts, low draws, just to get a feel of it instead of just hitting one type of shot.
Okay. Do you just come out here and bang balls, or do you tend to just kind of work your way through a bucket over a pretty big time period?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I pretty much do, I guess, in a sense. I just do bing balls.
Okay. All right. So maybe one thing that we can do for practice recommendation for you is, first off, just slow down. Maybe even just get a small bucket.
Okay.
Instead of getting the super jumbo buckets or whatever, just get a small bucket and try to hit that small bucket over a course of an hour.
Okay.
Another thing that you can do is you can pull 5 balls out each time and hit them while taking practice swings in between. And that way you can slow down as well.
Okay.
But then also the other thing I want you to work on, since we have been working on keeping that width and keeping that back hip from swaying back, is doing the post drill.
Okay.
Probably every other day. If you come out here, let's just say 3 times, just do it once or twice.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just hit balls while maintaining that arc width that we talked about, so that you can maybe maintain some of that power, so you're not losing it with only being able to take a 3/4 swing.
Okay.
All right. About practicing last week a little bit, and you said you practice 1 or 2 times a week?
Yeah.
Okay. So how often do you kind of spend up here chipping?
Probably. Well, I increased it to about 3 or 4 after the last week's lesson.
Oh, good.
So I do probably within an hour of practice, I maybe do like 10 minutes.
Okay. Do you just get bored of it, or you'd rather go down there and hit driver, or?
Yeah, I kind of do get tired of it. It's like nothing to do. So.
Yeah. No, I understand. Cool. So one thing that I'd really like to do, I like how you increased it up to 3 or 4 practice sessions this past week. That's awesome. So I'd like you to maybe jump that, instead of doing 10 minutes up here chipping, maybe bump it up to 20 minutes.
Okay.
And just go all around the greens, put the tees in the ground if you need it, and just practice making that good stroke on the ball, because the more practice you're going to do, the better you're going to hit the ball. And obviously, it's going to be a lot closer. Yeah. So just practice 3 or 4 times this week, like you said you did, and just bump that up to about 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes. All right? Often, I know we talked a little bit about your short game last week with the chipping, and you said you practiced about 10% of the time at the chipping. I'm curious how much you practice at the bunkers.
I don't really practice. I just practice on the range, trying to avoid the bunkers.
Yeah.
But when I do get in the bunker, I get in trouble.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely, especially if you're hitting 1 or 2 bunkers around, like you told me earlier. I think really one thing that you got to work on is your bunker play. Because if you're leaving it in there, that's at least 2 strokes.
Yeah.
That you're putting into the green, and that would significantly drop your game. So one thing that I would work on is working on that line drill that we did. Doing that probably every other day even if it's just 10 minutes, that's better than nothing.
Okay.
But then progressively get to where you're practicing a little bit more and more and more, and then practicing from different bunkers, different angles, above the pin, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
Perfect. So that last shot that you hit, you said you really don't like those shots because you tend to hit it too far.
Yeah.
Do you ever practice those shots?
There's not really a place to practice that much, but I guess on the driving range, I guess that grass is about 20 yards.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people have that problem of having to fly something like a bunker or water or something, and having the fear of going into the bunker or the water or something. And so they hit it too far. So I think it's just going to be building your confidence, just kind of like what we talked about in your bunker game. So just get out there, like you said, even if you're out on the range and you pick 30 yards out, just trying to hit that shot constantly. All right?
Okay. Sounds good.
So we kind of discussed this every single week when we're out here. What kind of practice do you do on the greens?
I pretty much just hit a couple balls around and just around it, see what I'm comfortable with.
Okay. What's your kind of thought process before a round?
Before a round, when I'm practicing, just make a couple like short putts just to make sure that I have a good grip of it.
Okay.
Just make a couple wide putts to make sure it's in a circle.
Okay. Perfect. Good. So just like I've said every week is get off the range a little bit and come to the short game areas just a little bit more, even if it's like with 10% more of the time, 10 minutes more per 100 minutes of practice. All right, just come up here, roll a few putts, make sure you're lining them up correctly, use those drills, and you'll definitely be getting a lot better with your putting.